Do 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 do. We're live on the pre-show on Twitch. Do 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 do. Can you believe it? Yes, I guess you can. And we'll be live on the TikTok, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alright,
Eric's here. Bang, bang, bang.
bang, 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 motherfucker.
Bang, bang, bang.
Boop, 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 boop. On TikTok live. Tommy here. I'll server mute. Tommy, I'm gonna server mute you. I'll put you on right at the end.
Yeah, scumbag.
And I think that's a good idea. For like the last like we'll open up the show. Like once the show's over, to kind of open up like anybody that wants to talk.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that. Let me know when we're live on TikTok.
Oh, we're live on TikTok. We're live on Twitch. We're live everywhere.
I'm ready when you are to go live to record.
Oh, true. Forgot about that. All right, let's get it.
now recording.
Let's go. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise I ain't making that. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making cheese like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, yeah, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest fear is finding out that this came and went. So go ahead, but I'm staying in. Okay, drop a song and pop up on your phone like I was YouTube. Connected to the fans without a hand, I did it Bluetooth. The only time I come up short is when they watching YouTube. Spinning with the deal, no wonder why my screws loose. Taking off and I can't stop, I beat them all by a landslide. Houdini, I popped out of that box even with hands tied. Big dog like Sandlot, but it's real life, no fantasize. Counting money a damn lie, my hands clean, no sanitize. Whoa, had to switch up on the flow, gotta keep them on their toes. I move quick, I make the most, why they copy what I wrote. Follow everything I post, never trip about a clone. Cause they know what's a sheep to a goat. Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise I ain't.
It is Inside English Redzone podcast here live on Thursday, July 17th, 2025. It's Eric Williams, joined as always by Matt Namo. Matt, what's going on?
Nothing much, Eric. We got a beautiful Thursday evening. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're making our way around the NFL. We're heading to the AFC North today. Excited. Where you are now, 49 days away from kickoff?
Yeah.
If that is correct. I'm trying to
we are.
The webcam here, too. But, yeah, bro, I'm ready to go.
I was going to say, we're just pushing along. We're just continuing the NFL preview. The last two shows we've done did the AFC East, and today we are starting the AFC North. We're going to do part one. We're doing Browns and Steelers today. And then Monday, we'll get back into the part two with the Ravens and Bengals. And we'll just keep rolling all week, Monday through Thursday. So we get closer to week one of the NFL. And we'll throw in, sprinkle in with birds because, training camp starts next week. We'll have some things to add in. But first, I want to kind of do a rest in peace to Eagles Super Bowl champion Brian Bremen. Passed away this morning at 38 years old from a rare form of cancer. Rest in peace to Brian.
Yeah, RIP Brian Bremen, member of the 2017 Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles squad. Dude, very sad. So hopefully, send the condolences out to his family and his loved ones. And that Eagles family, man. You don that uniform, you spill sweat, blood, and tears for this squad. You always get respect from me. That's for sure. So rest in peace, Brian Bremen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sucks. That 38 years old, man. It's kind of I was telling EP before we went live. You see that 38 number?
Young.
It kind of hits because I'm 38 years old.
Yeah,
so it's just like, to kind of think about that at that age,
Definitely scary to think about, especially.
I just got I'm to be full transparent with you just now. Like I was paused for like a few seconds, but I don't know what it was. Like I got teary eyed. It was really weird. Just thinking about it.
Hits, man. Yeah.
And it wasn't like that. Wasn't like I was just like thinking about it for just talking about it and saying it at 38. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that just hit me. I was just talking about it with EP, and I'm like, man, I really thinking about it 38 years old, just not being here no more. It's just and then I was just just talking about it, and then I'm like, holy shit, I got it again. I got that fucking teary, and I'm like, oh, I can't even talk. It just fucking it wouldn't let me talk for a second. It was weird. But yeah, rest in peace, Brian Bremen. People were asking me, do you remember him? I'm like, yeah, of course. I fucking usually if you're a member of the Eagles and played a game, I could say the name and I'd be like, yep. People were like, oh, do you remember Barry Gardner? I'm like, absolutely. Quentin Caver, dude, I'm freaking remember Mike McCoy, dude, I freaking remember all these ridiculous names. I'm just you had mentioned over the weekend that you started you were at the Backyard Show, and you're like, you were talking to Kale, and you were talking about how much like I remember. And it's like it's the same thing with football. Like the Eagles stuff, like just boom, boom, boom. I can tell you names, and I remember that name, and I'm like, like that person was good. Oh, that Ryder Hood. Remember Ryder Hood played for us?
Ryder Hood, yes, indeed.
Yeah. Rock Carmichael. You know what I mean? Like random names. I'm just like pull a name out of the butt, and I'm like, what? How the hell did you pull that name off? But if you're listening live on Discord, we appreciate you. If you're listening live on TikTok, hit the like, hit the screen, give us our loves. Go join the page Namo AF over there on TikTok to watch us live on TikTok. If you are a listener on one of our major platforms, we are worldwide. We're all over the world. I'm seeing that Pakistan is even listening to the pod. Wow crap, man. Wow crap. Like four downloads from Pakistan. Like they're listening to us in Pakistan. So I don't know. Wild stuff. But I said I wasn't going to do this, but I've kind of like found a way to kind of throw this in there. So kind of do our Eagles talk a little bit, since we are Inside Eagles Red Zone podcast. Before we get into the NFL talk with the AFC North Part 1, me and you talked this morning about the radio, the Philadelphia radio.
Yeah.
Again. So they're back to their foolery. They're back to their foolery, Matt. And a certain JK is they're claiming things that aren't true. That they were all in on this team last year. But they love this team, and we kind of did like a little bit of a rant on the phone today, so I kind of got that like to a point. But what is going on in Philly? Like, what are we doing again? Like, what's this foolery? Like, who are they?
The amnesia.
Like the amnesia. Like they got lost in like what they like. Do they like? You said it perfect. And do they not realize that everything that is recorded is archived?
I don't think they do.
Like, I'm being real. It's me and you, Matt, like, having a conversation. Yeah, like
I don't think they do.
Like, do they not know that everything can be listened to? Like, all this archive stuff. They're on YouTube. They're on Spotify. They're on Apple. They're everywhere. All these shows get posted. Unless they physically go in and delete the stuff. But then if you delete it, you're like, why'd you delete that?
Yeah, exactly.
But everything is recorded. Dude, I hate doing this. I preach against this, but your boys we were on all year last year. We were defending the head coach. We're defending the quarterback. We're defending this team. We were telling these people that were ready to jump off a bridge after week 2, relax. And now, because the Eagles won the Super Bowl, now it was, we told you. No, you didn't tell anybody. Nothing. No, you didn't. No, you cannot be the one. You cannot be the one when you're the ones that have been hyping this fan base up. And I see he's listening. So we will get personal here for a second, Matt. But the reason why the doctor decided to become a doctor is because he listened to the bull crap. I wanted to say the other word.
Bought into the bull crap.
But the media influences these people and then goes, oh no, I never said that. Yes, you did. You said all types of wild nonsense and foolery. And for weeks and weeks, you decided, the coach. What does the coach do? What does the coach do? He wins. What does the quarterback do? He wins. Oh, what is Howie doing? Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, we said it that this team was the best team in the NFL. We said it.
We were on it.
And guess what?
Early.
If we were wrong, I would have said, "Hey, we're wrong."
Yep.
Nobody in this Philly radio station, or none of these Philly radio stations, have I heard say, "Yeah, I was wrong." None of them. They just, well, that was last year. We won. Yay! Party on Broad Street. No, you don't deserve to party. You deserve to do an apology tour. I haven't heard none of that. So until then, until I get my apology, you're going to get called out. Because this is ridiculous. You can't just sit there and just be like, yay, no, you're wrong. You were wrong. Call me out. If I'm wrong, Matt, tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong at all.
Nobody has apologized for any of the foolery that was said. None of them.
No.
Not one.
But now they're sitting there saying that they were in the whole time.
Yeah. No, you weren't. Week 2, week 4, week 5. Oh, the coach gets into it and who cares? Who cares?
And after Jacksonville, you didn't pull the Jaguars out. What are they doing? This coach is an idiot.
Yeah.
This team stinks. God forbid they had 2 playoff games where if they were tough, and this team's not good enough to win the Super Bowl, and this offense isn't good enough. But now that they won the Super Bowl, we were in the whole time. And that's where the amnesia comes in, because it's well documented. There was 5 days a week for like 3.5, 4 months where it was the quarterback, the head coach, and this team not being good enough. Oh, they can't pass the ball. And, they're not going to be able to sustain the run game and win. What are we doing? And week in and week out, they proved everybody wrong. But now that it's the off season, it was. We were in the whole time. And they still don't understand the offense. They still don't understand how the league works. And it's embarrassing. Like, I don't know why people have such a hard time admitting that they were wrong. Or a hard time going, you know what? I didn't want to believe. I was scared, but now I'm in. Like, just that's okay to admit. I give you credit if you're able to admit that. I give you credit if you're able to admit you're wrong. I think that's not even just as a sports fan. That's a big part of who you are as a human. You have to be able to admit you're wrong. Because guess what? If every person was 100% correct, things would be very, very different. And a lot of these people would have a lot better jobs than what they have, and would be making a lot more money than they currently make. So it's okay to be wrong. No one shoots 100%. I'm sorry. It's just it's almost mathematically impossible to be 100% correct all the time. But why there's an issue, such a large issue, admitting, hey, I was wrong, and I got proved wrong. I don't know why, especially in sports media, there is such a huge issue just admitting you were wrong. They don't want to admit they were wrong about the coach. They don't want to admit they were wrong about the quarterback. I remember doing shows week after wins, week after week after wins, with people, with Eagles fans going, what does the coach do? I remember doing the show where I went through every single head coach, ones that called plays, ones that didn't call plays, because people were sitting there going, what does this coach do? going through all 32 head coaches sitting there, who calls plays, who doesn't call plays. This is what their role is. This is what they do. Every single week. And hey, guess what? There's times where you're gonna play a team that plays you tough. And if you can pull out a win, guess what? That's all that matters. Same thing, especially in the playoffs. Sat there. Oh, this offense was so bad against Green Bay. Guess what? Green Bay had a top 5 defense. And you beat them by 10 and gave up, what, 7 points? 10 points?
10 points, yeah.
You're not going to score. This isn't college football. This is not Madden. This isn't, oh, hey, we can just wake up and drop 40 and everything's okay. You're going to punt. You're going to have 3 and outs. There's going to be drives where it's not good all the time. Ultimately, do you score more points than your opponent? If so, guess what? You're going to win. That's how you win. So while not everything will be pretty all the time, if you win and move on, especially come playoff time, that is ultimately what matters. But, there should come a time, especially in today's day and age where everything is archived, where you can admit being wrong and just accept the fact that you were wrong. And that's the issue. I'll tell you right now, especially if you're listening for the first time or pass through on TikTok or it's your first time downloading, I was 100% wrong on Jalen Hurts. I'm glad I was wrong on Jalen Hurts. But guess what? I will gladly admit that I was wrong about him. I wanted to be wrong. I was wrong. I'll admit that. And guess what? That's good. That's what you should be able to do. But these guys, these radio hosts, you could point out where they were wrong, and they will sit there and deny, and sit there and talk down to people that point out when they were wrong. Because I guess the ego can't handle it, or God forbid, just because you're a radio host, you can't admit you were wrong, which makes no sense to me. It's stupid. And we're in July. We're a week away from training camp. I know we're going to keep hearing how wrong this stuff goes and how wrong these guys are time and time again, because the guy in particular that we're really talking about can't understand that no matter who your offensive coordinator is, you tool the offense to your quarterback and you run what the quarterback wants to run and what the quarterback likes to run.
You know, veteran, and it's a veteran quarterback at this point.
But that is the state, and that is why when guys come out and say, like, the radio hosts have no talent, that's exactly what they're talking about. Because there comes a point in time where you need to have talking on the radio is one thing, but God forbid, you are the voice and the influencer of a majority of people. The doctor, folks like the doctor, you influence more people than you really think and really know that you influence. You have a larger influence than you think.
Yeah, and then it's you said that, and then they influence, and then they wonder why the fan base is the way they are.
Yes. Because they preach stupidity and preach a fear of admitting being incorrect, and then the fan base takes that and feels like they can't be incorrect, or that, oh my God, this guy says this, so that it has to be right. And that's the biggest problem. It's 2025. You have podcasts. Yes, you still have radio hosts. There's information out there.
Yeah, and that's what I look for. I look for the podcast that give me information.
They give you information.
I don't care about your opinion.
And if you want to learn how to watch games, I will gladly show you. Because guess what? Everyone watches games differently. But if you want to see different things, you can gladly come in to the Inside the Eagles Redzone Discord and watch games with us.
Yeah,
we will show you. I will break down tape for you. I got no problem. They're like literally what we want to do. I'll tell you right now. I could get very heavy into X's and O's and concepts and schemes and techniques and all that, but that's deep. That is very deep. What we want to do, and what I've always wanted to do, is to provide information and break the game down on a more simplistic level. That way, the average person can at least understand what they're seeing and what's happening. If you fall in love with it and want to get in the weeds and want to get nerdy and want to get very in depth, then great. But to the masses, you don't need that. You need to just be able to provide a simple, simplistic, not a little deeper than basic understanding. But if you go too far in depth too quickly, people will get bored because it is speaking a different language. It's like that with every sport. It's not just it just doesn't pertain to football. But I think ultimately a lot of the media members here, not the beat writers, I think the beat writers still do a great job, but the hosts that have the real influence don't understand the sport enough to relate that to the fan, and then when they can't admit they're wrong, that just creates stupidity and stubbornness. And that's the last thing. That's a goal for life. A big thing, ultimate goal, going deeper in the sports, is don't be stubborn and don't be stupid. Your life will be so much better when you stop being so stubborn and when you stop being stupid. Start with sports, but then apply that to your day-to-day life, and you'll see a large increase of success and happiness.
Life advice, sponsored by Matt Nemo.
That's right.
Making the world a better place, one person at a time.
There's too many stupid people out in the world.
Do that.
Far too many stupid people.
We could do a whole show based on stupid people.
Oh, yes, we could.
Matt, what team do you want to start with? You want to start with Cleveland or Pittsburgh? I got Cleveland up here right now.
Let's start with Cleveland. I know there is breaking news with the other team, but let's start with Cleveland.
Yeah. Can I say this? Cleveland has like 5 quarterbacks.
Which
Cleveland
means they have
has
none.
They have none. Cleveland has 0 quarterbacks.
A lot of quarterbacks.
What a trash quarterback room. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in this draft.
Both can't play.
Matt, you weren't a fan of both of them. I think
to be honest,
I think they watched your draft show and went, "Oh, which is the ones that Matt hates the most? Oh, we'll draft that one."
Well, I like Shador a lot more than Dylan Gabriel. I think Shador will end up seeing the field this year. Flacco, 2 years ago, very good. Fell off a cliff in Indy last year. Dude, he's not there to be the starter. If he is starting, I don't know. You're hoping and praying for lightning in a bottle again, like in 2023. Kenny Pickett, Captain Super Bowl. Probably will start the season as a starter. So ultimately, I think Sanders, by November and December is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I think he can read defenses a little bit. Everything else is kind of where it's a little lackluster for me. On the Shador skill set, but I cannot lie. If you get the offensive line is solid. I like Joel Bitonio. Wyatt Teller's pretty good. I like Jack Conklin. I like David Njoku. I like Jerry Jeudy.
Where would you rank this offense? Where would you rank that offensive line versus other teams in this league?
They're probably
top 15.
Yeah. They're top 15.
Okay.
Batonio's a stud. I know he's a little long in the. He's going into his 11th year. Wow. But he's still good. DeJuan Jones is okay. Ethan Pacic has been pretty good before. Wyatt Teller, who they got for Buffalo, not too bad. Jack Conklin, solid. Like that. And luckily, I don't know what is going to happen with Quinshon Judkins, but Jerome Ford is solid, and I really like Dylan Sampson. If Judkins is suspended for 4 games, 6 games, when you get that duo back of Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins, I think you're going to be able to have a pretty good rushing attack, which with that quarterback room is going to be a big help. What Deontay Johnson you get on the opposite side of Jerry Jeudy is going to be very interesting. If you get the Deontay Johnson you got last year, it's nothing. But if you get Deontay Johnson from 2 years ago, he can be productive. I like Jerry Jeudy. So I don't think offensive. I don't think they're terrible on offense. It's really what can you get out of that quarterback position? And I mean, obviously, it's that's not going. Hey, guess what? That's not anything to just wash over. But I don't think the future quarterback of the Cleveland Browns is on the roster right now. But like, if you look at talent-wise, they're going to be a team that is in a lot of games, and a team that, I don't want to say shock people, but I think they're better than 3-14. And their offense was dead last year. It can't get it legitimately cannot get any worse. Which, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, that's great. It can't get any worse. You should be able to run the football. You have 2 wide receivers that should be able to be productive. It's just what quarterback is going to take that job and keep them in games. And to be honest, I think it's Kenny Pickett, and then you move to Shador.
For everyone on TikTok, I wanted to say thanks everybody for the likes. Keep hitting the screen. Keep tapping the screen. Keep giving us follows. If you are on TikTok, like the page. Namo AF is the page. Doug in the chat said you're not wacko for Flacco.
And no, and you drafted 2 running backs. Doug, I love you. Pay attention. I said Judkins is probably going to miss 4 or 6 games. You have Dylan Sampson, who is going to be a stud. If you get those 2 back, you're going to have a very lethal running back room with Judkins and Sampson. Sampson can do the job. Even if you want to use Jerome Ford in more of in a higher percentage usage capacity, Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson won't kill you. That is a good enough running back tandem. But when Judkins gets back, and next year, the year after, 2-3 years down the line, they are going to be a very good running team, especially with that offensive line.
Yeah. You mentioned Njoku. I like Njoku, and I also like the kid that they drafted in the 3rd round, Fannin.
Yes.
I really like him. Actually,
that's a supplemental Because I think at slot receiver, I think that's like I like Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, okay, but looking at the rest of this wide receiver room, DeAndre Carter, Jamari Thrash, Cedric Tillman, Caden Davis. Like, I will not be shocked if you see a lot of 21 personnel or 12 personnel or even 22 personnel where you get both Fannin and Njoku on the field at the same time. Because Fannin, I think, can kind of be that, like, obviously he is a tight end with the size, but he's a guy that you could split out into the slot when you're running 12 personnel, and you'd totally be okay with it.
Yeah. And then, what about their defense? They paid Myles Garrett. They drafted Mason Graham, and they drafted Schweissinger.
I'll tell you what.
We love Schweissinger.
Yes.
I was hyped about him before we even did those draft shows, and then you started getting into it, and you were like, "Yeah, I like this kid." We're telling you about him.
Big on Schweissinger. Big on Mason Graham. They had the 8th ranked defense last year. They gave up 435 points. A lot of that was with how bad their offense was. A lot of turnovers, a lot of short fields. At that point, you are going to give up a lot of points. Yeah. I like this defense, though. You have, I think, Malik Collins. You get him from San Francisco. Oh, how's he going to adjust to, the little wide 9 action? That remains to be seen. But I think Mason Graham and Myles Garrett next to each other with Joe Tryon-Shoyinka that they got from Tampa Bay.
I forgot they got him.
Like, they should be, and they do have Julian Aguara, too. They should be able to get after the quarterback. And
that Cleveland defense got up, but yeah.
Yeah. And Schweissinger, Jordan Hicks, and Devin Bush. They also got Jerome Baker from Tennessee, so they have some depth at linebacker as well. And again, you like we were talking off air about like some of these teams and getting better. You might have talked me into another 2 wins for Cleveland,
dude. Like, because I'm looking at his defense, like I looked at it what was it 2 days ago? Because I've been kind of looking at what we're going to cover. And I was like, oh man, like Mason Graham, with next to Garrett, which would how I think that would be great for Mason Graham because I really like Mason Graham. But then I'm looking at it and I'm looking at pieces, and some of these guys, they came in there because of the money. But I'm just looking at everything and the Schweissinger thing, next to Hicks, working with Hicks. Hicks has been around for quite a while. He was here in Philadelphia. Dude, I really think this Cleveland defense got better.
Yes. Their weak spot on defense is that second cornerback spot with Martin Emerson. But
they like Newsome a lot.
They like Newsome a lot.
Yeah.
The safeties, though.
Thanks for the likes, everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the likes. Keep liking. That's beautiful. Yep. Doug again said needing to rely on the run game will kill us.
No. What?
Look at the Final Four teams. Or 3 of the Final Four teams last year. Kansas City relied on the run. Buffalo relied on the run. The Eagles relied on the run.
The run opens up for the pass.
The running game is back in modern NFL, boys and girls.
Yeah.
The run game is back. Now, what will kill you is the quarterback room. However, and realistically, Cleveland is not looking at this going, we're making the playoffs this year. Cleveland is, you see what they're building. Their defense is good enough to where if they get a quarterback, they can be competitive. They're like that. That's the whole thing. They are a team that is built on defense and running the football because they know they don't have the quarterback. But this defense, and they were very good special teams wise last year as well. I think they ranked. Let me pull up the rankings. They were 4th in special teams.
Okay.
So special teams and defense is going to be what they rely on to keep them in games. I think they're a 6-7 win team. Realistically, probably looking at 6. But they have pieces here to where if you are a Browns fan, you could be optimistic about the future. Like if we're looking long term, they need a stud wide receiver, and they need a quarterback, and they need another corner. But this defense will keep you in games. This defense will force punts. This defense will force turnovers. It'll be, can they control time of possession and get anything from the quarterback to win a handful of games? That's really what they're looking. They're not looking to be a Super Bowl contender, really a division contender. Realistically, they know where they are. They know what they have to do. That's why you saw them kind of still address some issues on defense. Because you have your stud in Myles Garrett, and now you put Mason Graham and Carson Schweissinger in there. Like, that's 2 young pieces to put with your stud.
Yeah.
And now you can build off of that. But, like, yeah, this defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And they have an offensive line that can run the ball, and they have a couple weapons that could open up the passing game. They're just going to be severely limited in what production they get out of the quarterback position.
Now, we talked about the quarterback room. So if they decide to, they're going to have to draft a quarterback next year. Would you call this the? I'm just throwing it out there. Is this the dream scenario for a quarterback, or is this close to being a possibility for that?
Yeah, I would think so. Depending what happens at head coach, because I would not be shocked if, even though I think he has gotten a little bit of the short end of the stick, if they move on from Kevin Stefanski at the end of this year, I would not be shocked. But to come into a situation with a decent offensive line, the ability to run, and a good defense, though most teams that get drafted, or most quarterbacks that get drafted top 5, top 10, don't normally step into a situation where you have more than a couple of pieces. Like, this actually is not a bad situation for a rookie quarterback to step into next year and be able to have some success.
I was going to say the defense, I think you keep, like, that's Schwartz. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
I think you don't. I wouldn't move on from Schwartz.
No, not when he's putting up top 10
even if
defenses.
If they move on, like what I'm saying is, if they moved on from Stefanski,
you could easily see them just give that head coaching job to Schwartz. Or what happened in Philly, where, hey, Doug, we're hiring you, but
you're keeping the defense.
Yeah, but we're bringing in Schwartz to run the defense. That could easily happen.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly like when you're saying that. Yeah, I don't think you leave unless the defense goes from, like, what you say, they were 8th last year.
Yeah, they were 8th. Yeah, if they fell to 20s,
like 20th. Yeah, like. Yeah, but they'd have to do like a crazy. Yeah, you'd have to go to like a completely, or you start hearing like, hey, like the locker room hates Schwartz, then you move on. But I think Jim Schwartz gets to stay there unless the defense completely falls apart. But, dude, like talent guys, like they're not moving on from Schwartz. It doesn't, like, they can move on from Stefanski because Stefanski's running the offense, but you know that Schwartz is, that's Schwartz's baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, you're not moving on from him. Anything else, like an outlook on, like an overall outlook The more and more you look at this roster,
I see them being in a lot of games, 6 wins. Like you trust that defense, you trust the running back pieces that you have. Just without a quarterback or even consistent quarterback play, you're not going to be able to sustain wins and sustain success even throughout the course of a game with what they have in that quarterback room. And I think ultimately that's just going to be their big issue, and they'll look to fix that next year.
Right. So on to Pittsburgh, and today, Matt, the Pittsburgh Steelers re-signed, put pen to paper, T.J. Watt. It was a 3-year deal, $123 million deal. I reached out to Rick earlier to ask him what he thought, and he said, happy it's done, don't care about the money, go win a playoff game. Matt, what is your thoughts on this deal?
I mean, I think it's smart for them. He kind of is the backbone and the heart and soul of that defense at this point. Yeah, obviously he needs to stay healthy, but dude, when he's on the field, he is the difference maker on that this defense. I think this defense is good, but you see when TJ Watt's not on the field, they go from good to average. And when Watt's on the field, he's like Myles Garrett. Like we're literally talking about two very similar defenses and how they're structured, where the key edge rusher, Pittsburgh plays a 3-4, so it's different than Cleveland playing a 4-3, but you have to know where TJ Watt is wherever he is on the field. You have to be aware of him. He's going to wreak havoc. He's going to force turnovers. They had to keep him, because if not, like, this defense looks a lot different. Alex Highsmith, to me, is a better player because of T.J. Watt. Cameron Hayward's long in the tooth, still productive. But, yeah, T.J. Watt's the glue and the backbone of that defense for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into more of the defense in a little bit, but let's start with the Steelers' offense, Matt. Pittsburgh now has Aaron Rodgers to deal with. Let's talk about that. How do you think that relationship will be between Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers?
If Rodgers will listen to anybody, and maybe he will, because I realistically think he and people, if you pay attention to football, knows like this is his last spot. I know I saw people before he signed and after he signed. Oh, Rodgers said, they looked at the stats last year, and Rodgers had statistically like a decent season. But if you watch, and sadly those Jets had a lot of games on TV, he was not good.
No.
He was not good. Yes, at the end of the year, the stats looked okay, but if you watch, like, this is not Aaron Rodgers from 3 years ago. This is not Aaron Rodgers 5 years ago. This is a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, 2 years off an Achilles injury. He's slowed down. He still has arm talent, but he just can't do a lot of the things that made Rodgers Rodgers. And that's what doesn't make sense to me for like what the Steelers, what their plan is. And I think ultimately the Steelers have been in this purgatory for like 4 years now, and they just will not bite the bullet and admit that they need to make a lot of changes.
Admitting their mistakes, yeah. We kind of, I think we talked about this last year too. We're just like, do you think it's just the way that the Steelers just historically have been, like as an organization?
Yes, like they're not used to being bad. They're an organization that doesn't really have a long sustained period of not being good, and I think that's a big issue for them to kind of look and bite that bullet. But this team has not been, well, like,
How do you fix, like, I mean, this is the $1 million question, but how do you get out of that? Like, how do you like change that?
you get a young quarterback. You move on from Tomlin. You get a young quarterback, and you go from there. They are. We talked about this a handful of shows. It's probably been like a month and a half since we took a break. But we went over the Colts.
Yeah.
And how they had Andrew Luck. They refused to really fully build around Andrew Luck. And then they thought that, we're a quarterback away. And they weren't. Realistically, they weren't. And they missed draft picks and drafted guys at wrong positions. And now they're in the situation that they're in. Pittsburgh is the better version of the Indianapolis Colts, where they hung on to Roethlisberger 2 years longer than they should have. They never replaced him. They never drafted a legitimate successor. The offensive line is average, completely average. The running back game completely average. The wide receiver core completely average.
They're nothing like spectacular. There's nothing spectacular about this team.
And defensively, like, they have some pieces. Like, their defense is good, but
Right.
you're not winning in this league unless you. They are hoping and praying that Aaron Rodgers can find a little bit of fountain of youth from turn back the clock 5 years, and have him win 4 games for them. But they're a team that thinks they're better than they are. Like, look at this wide receiver core. I like DK Metcalf. Robert Woods is old. Calvin Austin,
Old
not good.
and old.
No, this is his 3rd year in the league.
No, I'm thinking of somebody else.
You were thinking
Robert
probably.
Woods, I think I'm talking about Robert Woods for a second.
Robert Woods is old. Calvin Austin's a kick returner, realistically. And then look at they have Scotty Miller, Roman Wilson, Ben Skoenreck. None of these guys are good.
They're like the same. They're like the same receiver.
Same type of guys. Their offensive line, Isaac Seumalo, Fatanu, they drafted him last year, okay. But and now look at their running back room. Jalen Warren, they drafted Caleb Johnson, they bring in Kenneth Gainwell, they bring in Trey Sermon. Your difference maker, like, I like DK Metcalf. I like DK Metcalf a lot more if why am I blank? If George Pickens is on the other side of him.
Yeah.
But your issue last year, on top of the quarterback position, was that your whole receiving core was George Pickens. So you go and get DK Metcalf, who's better than Pickens, but you're in the same spot on the opposite side. If you play
trade Pickens, and then you trade Pickens.
Yeah, you trade Pickens to Dallas, and you bring in Metcalf. So your issue's the same. If you play Pittsburgh, just bracket and shadow DK and let Robert Woods kill you. Robert Woods in 2017, 2018 when he was with the Rams, yeah, he could kill you. He was very productive. Robert Woods 7 years later, he's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
He did nothing for Houston last year. Calvin Austin, he ain't doing anything. And their offensive line is not elite. Their offensive line is young. Like they're starting 3 offensive linemen that they drafted last year, and then they have Isaac Seumalo and Broderick Jones they drafted in 23. So young offensive line still trying to grow together. So it's not like you have an elite offensive line. You don't have an elite running back room. And you have a great number 1 wide receiver in DK, but you're weak at 2 through 5 at wide receiver. And you got to hope and pray that Aaron Rodgers and Pat Freiermuth have a very good connection, which I think Freiermuth should have a better season. Because I think Rodgers has always been good with tight ends. And okay, you got Jonnu Smith. So you got 2 solid tight ends that should be able to play a little bit and maybe alleviate some of the role that DK Metcalf has to do. But look at this. Like, this is they're going to win 9 or 10 games and be a first-round playoff exit. Maybe they win a playoff game. And the Steelers fans, and the Steelers organization need to ask themselves, is that good enough? Because this is what they've been. They make the playoffs every year, but they're not a Super Bowl threat. This team right now, I'm telling you right now, they're not a Super Bowl contender. They're not beating Buffalo. They're not beating Baltimore. They're not beating Kansas City. They could win a playoff game, but is that what you want? Or is this Pittsburgh? You're the Steelers. You're supposed to be a perennial Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
They've just fallen at, like, sure, Tomlin can get the guys to play. I mean, he still has a grip on the locker room. But he's not bad enough to get you where you need to be, where you can draft a quarterback. And they're not good enough with a quarterback, with an aging quarterback, that they can develop into a Super Bowl contender. So they're just kind of they're in this purgatory where they'll win anywhere from 8 to 10 games a year, fight for a playoff spot, and be a first or second round exit. And that doesn't... It would help if they were a front office that was aggressive. You know, trade up in the draft, sacrifice a couple picks to move up, or be super aggressive in free agency, but they're really not. Historically, they're not. They don't do that. They're just... And it seems like right now the front office is okay with 8 to 10 wins, fighting for a playoff spot, and that's it. And when you get like that and you have that complacency, that's kind of where you see like this same stuff start to happen, and that's where you see the fan base really start to turn.
Yeah, it's
like and look at their Eric. Look at their quarterback room. So if Rodgers gets hurt, they brought back Mason Rudolph.
good Lord.
And you know what? For the 6th round, I kind of like the draft pick of Will Howard. But you could have had Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, and Will Howard should not see the field for 2 years. I know that's what I said when we looked at his tape. Like, this is a guy that needs to sit for a couple years. And then worse, if it got down to... he's not even going to make the team, but Skylar Thompson is their 4th quarterback. Like, just offensively, their defense is good. Defense is solid, but this offense, they struggled to score points last year. They're going to struggle to score points this year. The only thing that they have is Metcalf is a better deep ball receiver than Pickens.
Didn't Arthur Smith have issues with his quarterback when he was a
Yes.
coach? How is he going to do that with Rodgers?
That's a great question.
Like I just
That's
I
a
just looked
great
at that.
question.
I'm like, I thought he had major issues with quarterback.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
What the heck? What are they doing?
I don't think they know. And I think ultimately, that's the big problem.
Are they got to be stuck in their time. Like they got to
Yeah.
be stuck in that old times. Yeah, that has to be like the more and more yeah, dude. Like they're
Like, to be honest, dude, like, and I'm not a Tomlin hater, but
yeah.
Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl 14 years ago. They haven't been to an AFC title game since, and he still has a job. 14 years ago. Actually, that was the last time he made a Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl in 2009. So it's been 16 years since he won a Super Bowl. And he still has a job.
They've gotten way too comfortable with it. Like, I mean, if the culture...
The culture's still good, but there comes a point in time where cultures...
you have to be willing to invest into other things. You can't just worry about the culture. Yeah, culture is a big part of it.
Culture's huge, but your culture is... We win 8 games at this point.
Yeah, and you're not bringing in, like, you know what I mean? Like, you never hear of any of these... When was the last time one of the coordinators got, like, a head coaching job because of how great their offense was?
Bruce Arians?
Yeah.
And,
what year was that?
I mean, he coached Arizona probably mid-2010s.
Yeah, so
And then...
it's... But that's what, yeah, like, I mean, the guys in, like, you know, it's not one of these, like, top offensive, like...
No. And even the culture thing with Tomlin, that, to me, that's different if okay, so if he had them AFC title game, like, 3 times sprinkled into the span, you know, maybe another 2 Super Bowl appearances, then it's like, okay, cool. Like, the locker room likes him and he can still win when it matters. Dude, they make the playoffs and lose in the first round every year.
Yeah.
Like, it comes a point, like, at this point, like, the Eagles let go of Andy Reid 11 or 9 years after he made it to the Super Bowl, and 2 and 3 years after he made his last NFC title game. Like, we're talking 14 years since they made a Super Bowl, 16 years since they won the Super Bowl. And let me just look, last AFC title game appearance.
Dude, I was in college. I think I was East Stroudsburg at the time.
The Steelers haven't made an AFC title game since they lost to New England in 2017. So that was the 2016 season.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, 2016.
So it's been 9 years since they made an AFC title game, and he still has a job. Like, there comes a point where, you know, the culture's fine. Like, you have good luck. You have, well, I don't know how good your locker room guys are now with that clown in there at quarterback, but
yeah,
like, there comes a point in time where you have to go, like, hey, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to be a Super Bowl contender. They're not Super Bowl contenders, and they haven't been for a decade. And this I'm telling you, this team right now, 10 wins, first round playoff exit. Max. That's like the most optimistic outlook I have for the Steelers looking at their roster is 10-7 and a wild card playoff loss.
And then we're back to...
And then Aaron Rodgers probably retires because I'm sure it'll fall apart. And then, oh, wait, we don't have a quarterback. Again, oh, wait, we're picking 23rd in the draft, so we can't draft one.
Yeah.
And they're not the front office. They won't trade 2 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks to move up.
I think this is we've been saying that this is one of the better quarterback drafts in quite some time.
So this would have been the year to, hey, Mason Rudolph, go win us 6 games. Because then guess what? You draft a quarterback in the first round, or if they would have drafted Dart, this past year. But, oh, hey, look, we have 6 wins. Let's get us a quarterback and then try to draft some weapons and build the wide receiver core in the second and third round. And then, oh, wait, okay, then it might be rocky for the first 2 years with the rookie quarterback. But then, oh, look, our defense is still solid. Our defense is still pretty good. And now we have a quarterback that could actually win us games and make us a legit contender. But they refuse to do it. They're just an organization that's accepted being mediocre. And for the Steelers, that's honestly pretty sad.
Yeah. It's... Yeah. It's just... It's mind-blowing.
There's some teams in this league that I just can't comprehend what they're doing. The Steelers are definitely one of them. I mean, the Bills are kind of another one. Like they're just better off than the Steelers are, but like realistically, if you're a Steelers fan, you know what this season's going to be. You're hoping and praying that it somehow turns out different, but you know this season's going to be 10 wins and they get spanked in the wild card round again by Kansas City or Baltimore.
Right. Because you'll be the worst out of the team that makes the playoffs.
Yeah. You got to hope and pray that somehow you get matched up with maybe the team that wins the AFC South. Or like hope and pray they get matched up with Houston.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't even know if you match up well against them.
Yeah.
It just feels like a season that you're just punting, but you're not bad enough to be excited about where you're going to draft.
I've also heard these people how excited they are about Jalen Ramsey coming to.
Ramsey's an interesting piece. Like I think he's on the
Slay.
downside. And they got Slay. Slay's solid. Slay was good last year. I think they're weak at safety. I like Joey Porter Jr. So realistically, that cornerback room can be good. It's definitely better than having James Pierre, being your starting slot corner, or even like Beanie Bishop being your slot corner. But I think Patrick Queen was okay. Highsmith's okay. I like their defense. I like the defense. I think you could attack them over the middle of the field.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think this defense is going to be heavily reliant on Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, and Ramsey or Slay staying healthy. And I don't think they have the offense that could overcome any mishaps by the defense.
Right.
I think realistically that's the big thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say overall, I think talking about these two teams today and starting the AFC North, are these the bottom two in the AFC North? We haven't gotten to Baltimore or Cincy yet, but we'll do that on Monday. But
I think Cincy and Pittsburgh are one and the same almost. They're Cincy and Pittsburgh are battling for second place. Because what the Steelers kind of lack for offensive depth, Cincinnati's defense is 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh's defense is good.
Yeah, Cincinnati, they have the
Like,
weapons.
Yeah, since he's got the 2 wide receivers and they got a better quarterback, but that defense is horrible.
Yeah.
And to me, Pittsburgh, 2 solid tight ends and 1 good wide receiver, but their defense is 10 times better than what Cincy has on defense.
Right. You got anything else you want to get into?
I don't think so.
I think we hit this one out of the park.
Yeah.
This was pretty fun. For everybody that was watching on TikTok, we do appreciate it. Thank you. Go follow Nemo AF over there. Hit a follow. Give us some likes. Give us some love. If you want to listen to any of our past episodes, we are on all major podcast networks. We are Inside Eagles Red Zone podcast. That's all you got to do is search there. For our Discord family, we do appreciate you guys as well. We appreciate everybody that listens to the show. If you're listening to the download, if you're a worldwide listen, thank you. And we're going to keep doing this thing. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you guys Monday for another fun show, and we're getting close to the season, so it'll be here before you know it, and we out of here. Peace.
Let's go.